into it. You get to really speak into it. Whatever you said, if you're not taking care of it, we should talk about. All right.
All right, we'll call to order a meeting of the Port Aransas Planning and Zoning Commission on Thursday, August 27th, 2026 at 4:03 p.m. Item 2, citizen comments and reports. At this time, comments will be taken from the audience on any subject matter. Please limit comments to 3 minutes in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. The Planning and Zoning Commission may not discuss or take action on any item that has not been posted on the agenda. 3 items for consideration. 3.1, discuss and take appropriate action on the minutes from the Planning and Zoning meeting held on June 29th, 2026.
So if you guys remember, we did not have a July meeting, so the last meeting was June and the minutes were included in your packet. Feels like a year ago.
Then bit.
Need a motion to approve? Is that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the planning and zoning meeting held on June 29th, 2026.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion from Brenda and a second from Stephen.
Okay, Felicia Foster,
Yes.
Brenda Owens.
Yes.
Stephen Wilson,
Yes.
Richard Kay,
Yes.
Bill Strieber,
Yes.
Mike Dan,
Abstain.
motion carried.
Item 3.2, discuss and take appropriate action to confirm that beachfront dune protection permit plan 26-22 is consistent with the city's coastal management plan. The applicant seeks to establish that no dunes exist on the proposed construction site. Applicant KM Beach LLC, property location Palmia Beach Village South area.
So since Chloe Norton with DCCM is here, I'll bring her up to introduce the whole project. She's very patiently waited for this meeting. But this is a no dune permit to overlay the dune permit that we had previously discussed at Palmia.
So as Nicole mentioned, it's a no dune permit. The first permit that was done on this property was a mass grading sort of permit, which took care of the critical dunes along the back residential lot line. Then there was another dune permit, which allowed us to propose walkovers through. One of those walkovers has been constructed. One of them is yet to be constructed, but that permit is still active. Then most recently, we did another dune permit to extend the time frame for the applicant to finish the vegetation mitigation on those mitigation dunes, which were permitted in the mass grading dune permit. That is ongoing work. This dune permit is to establish that the critical dunes have been moved outside of the residential lot area, and this would allow them to construct along those back residential lot lines within the 1,000-foot dune line without having to come back and obtain dune permits when there are no dunes on site anymore.
And just for the record, this is a pretty common practice with big subdivisions. We started this back in Cinnamon Shore North. So because once that dune permit for the mass grading that he was talking about, the subdivision construction permit expires, every single thing that would be built in that area, even though there's no dunes, would have to come for their individual dune permit. So rather than see hundreds of individual no dune permits on lots, what we suggested to Cinnamon Shore back then was to do a mass, just like they did a mass dune permit for the subdivision, to do a mass no dune permit that covers all those specific lots. So that's happened with Cinnamon Shore North, that's happened with Palmia, that's happened with Cinnamon Shore South. So we've seen this happen, several times. This is just Palmia is ready for their next phase.
So part of preparing this package included our crew going out and topo surveying that back line and where the impacted dunes were and where the mitigation dunes were to get the actual topography that, it was constructed to site. And that was also an effort to establish that the mitigation had been complete per the previous permit. And so what you can see as attachment 4 is the yellow hatch area is what's represented as critical dunes. And you can see that it has been pushed back to not interfere with that back residential lot line. The next attachment is attachment 4A. It's labeled at the top of the page, not in the title block sheet. And And that shows the original impacts and mitigation proposed under that mass grading dune permit. So you can see the red areas along that back residential lot line were impact areas, and that was to remove the dunes from those residential areas, and it included a 3-to-1 grade back up to the existing dunes so that we didn't have material slip and dunes accumulating back on the residential area.
This in phase 7?
Sorry?
Is this phase 7?
Yes.
Would it be possible to get a lot and block like chart that goes along with this?
So we do that. Staff does that.
You will do that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we did similar for Cinnamon Shore, Cinnamon
Yeah.
Shore South. So that in our review process, and this is just for construction review process, there's a dune permit kind of check mark box. And so goes to the building official for review, it comes to me for review. I verify that A, it needs a dune permit, and B, there's a dune permit in place for it. And we have lists that we go to that refer to the lot and block so that we can compare those addresses and legals to what is in place.
Didn't we have Cinnamon Shore added to their request the last time though? So it wasn't on you. Seems like we added that.
Staff is still gonna do it,
Mhm.
just because we need that for our records and it makes
Sure.
it easier in our process. I mean, we can add, you're more than welcome to ask them to add it into this. It was in the very first Cinnamon Shore North no June permit that we did. They listed lots and block numbers on it. Then subsequently, I think we've had some that haven't listed it, but staff does still do that work.
It would just be good for everybody to have it listed.
Sure.
I feel like.
You kind of understand what she's saying
To add the lot and block number to all
of
the
everything
lots.
that's in, yeah.
I'll have to check to see if that's been established at this time. I don't know if
Yeah,
they have
and so
those.
because, and what she's saying is, we
Yeah.
have platted 6A, 6B, we haven't platted
Platted.
7s yet, so it could be that those don't exist. But it could be that they exist and just haven't been submitted to us yet.
I'd have to check. I'm really not sure.
Sure. But know that ultimately it is part of this permit, the list that we include with it.
Okay.
The area that we're talking about here, that was part of the original dune permit when you guys went in and obtained the permit and then you did all of your grading, the
Yes.
site work and all.
Yeah, it's the exact same
it's-
area.
And it's completely clear right now, correct?
Yes.
I missed what you said a moment ago about what you're doing to prevent dune buildup.
With the original permit that was proposed, we proposed a 3-to-1 grade back from the cuts
Okay.
off of the residential area so that the material from the existing dunes wouldn't slip back.
Right. Where does that cut line begin? Just out of curiosity, like in terms of
It depends on the height of the dunes in each area, but we, there's a elevation along the back lot line that we tried to maintain. And if the dunes were above that, all that material got cut 3-to-1 back to existing. That's why you see some of the areas on this attachment 4A, the red area goes further into those critical dune areas is because of that 3-to-1 cutback.
Did that cutback begin on any of the individual properties, the individual lots, or is it beyond
It's-
those property lines?
I'm not sure I fully understand your question. It's been done all as one. They don't have each lot marked out. It's
Oh.
done as a full property. The lot lines shown here are just representational, mainly to show that back
Okay.
lot line. They won't exceed that back lot line.
Okay.
This, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this basically a cleanup effort after the first dune permit? You're
No,
just putting
sir.
Some more back from the original lot lines, or are they expanding?
No, sir.
So
It's-
how it works in dune permitting is you either have to have a dune permit in place or you have to have a no dune permit in place. So because they had this dune permit in place, we could issue regular individual construction permits for individual houses. But this dune permit expires and that dune permit expires in 3 years. And so once that 3 years happens, if each house wants to be built, they would have to come get a no dune permit. And then we would see hundreds of no dune permits coming
that's
to us.
within that 1,000-foot dune line. All the houses on the west side of that 1,000-foot dune line don't have to go under this practice. It's just from the red line to the mean high tide line.
So in an effort to kind of make that more efficient, we do it the same way as we do the major dune permit. And then this no dune permit doesn't ever expire.
Okay.
So provided that no dunes reestablish on those lots, we can use this as the dune permit in place to allow that construction. So the project, I mean, the process when something is submitted to us is city staff would physically look at the site, make sure that no dunes have reestablished. It's likely not going to happen because of maintenance, processes that go on in Palmia. But we make sure that no dunes have reestablished, and we say, yeah, your dune permit is still valid. You're good.
And what was confusing was looking at these impacted dunes and mitigation. I thought that was what was going to need to be fixed before we move forward. But
No, see, that is at the top of the page. It says attachment 4A and it lists the dune permit that was done under that 22001689. And same for the following. It was just to show that there are these ongoing projects there. It was just for clarity of that. So this is a separate dune permit for the walkovers, and those have their own impacts and mitigation associated with them. I think the permit application asks, what are the other dune permits that have been done on the project or are ongoing? So that was to clarify that.
Well, it's helpful to not have to look at a bunch of, pull up a bunch of different documents to look at information. It's all kind of included together.
Any further
Any
discussion?
additional questions or? If not, I'd make a motion to approve the no dune permit.
We have a motion from Richard Gay, second from Bill.
All right. Felicia Foster,
Yes.
Richard Kay,
Yes.
Brenda Owen,
Yes.
Bill Strieber,
yes.
Mike Dion,
Yes.
Stephen Wilson, sorry.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. All right. For Planning and Zoning Commission comments and items for future consideration.
I got nothing.
Okay, with that, we'll
We'll
adjourn the meeting at 4:16 PM.
Nice and quick.
All right.
No problem.
All right, you guys that have papers in front of you, don't leave.
Oh, yeah.
Leave.
Can I date it now?
Swear your life away. No, they. They have to do that. We're good for another year.